Whiskey friends, far and wide, we are live. What's up, y'all? Happy Tasty Tuesday. Good to see folks. I'm Eric, your humble malt user. Beaming the Whiskey Tube signal from the second city, Chicago, Illinois, USA. What is good, folks? Happy November. Can you believe it? We are closing in on the end of 2022 already. Time is flying when you're having fun and drams. I got one in the glass right now. It's a Glenlivet 12 illicit still. Warming up the palate for which should be a really, really fun show tonight. Hope you can take part in it. Drop in the chat, say hello. Let me know where you're coming from, watching from this evening. If you feel like sharing that info, of course, smash that like button. And would love to have you as a subscriber to the Malt User Whiskey Review channel. We got 10 folks in already before we get into our jam-packed show, which I'm really excited. It's 2 weeks in the making. I got to say hello to the people who've ponied up to the virtual bar, who've already got Whiskey Chat going. Before I even walked in the door, before I even turned this computer on, we got some good people hanging out, connecting, talking whiskey. Let's show them some love. First in the door tonight, it is our boy out in Los Angeles, one of those fearsome twosome out there, James Chang. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Happy post-Halloween sugar hangover, Cilantro Ba. You speak truth, sir. I hope you had a very nice Halloween out there in Los Angeles. Just a bit up the road somewhere in Central California, it's Tim Donner Pass Whiskey. What's up, brother? Hello, Eric and everyone. Getting our first significant snow on Donner Pass, maybe. Today, maybe 1.5 feet. Good Lord. It is 63 degrees here in Chicago. I know it's coming, but enjoy it. Stay safe. Good to see you, Donner Pass. It's been a minute. In the Midwest, the mighty Mr. French up in Duluth. Good evening, folks. Happy Tasty Tuesday from Duluth. I have a Glenmorangie Quinta Reuben 14 to enjoy with you good people tonight. It's great to see you, Mr. French, as always here on a Tasty Tuesday. Hope everything is well up in Duluth, somewhere on the border, the Badlands between Louisiana and Texas. Look out, y'all. We got a Quinta Reuben 12 in the glass. It's Glenmorangie, folks. Everybody's sipping a Glenmo tonight. It's our boy with the wrench, Daniel H. How you doing, brother? I'm a fan of both of those. He says, what snow? Buffalo, New York is in the house. It's here, and no snow yet, says Keen Dreams. Good to see you, Keen. Thanks for hanging out. And y'all beat the Packers. You may not want to mention Buffalo. Oh, God. Bucks are undefeated. That's all I can say. That's all I got. Jameson Black Barrel for our boy James Chang. That is a really good bottle. Did you know that there is a cast strength version out there somewhere? I've yet to see it in the stores here in Chicagoland, but I have seen it online, and I'm very tempted. That is a nice whiskey. Just across the state of Illinois, it is our good friend in the Quad Cities, Chris S. Glass to you, sir. What's up, Chris S? UK is in the house. On the late night tip over in London, our boy James Morgan. How you doing, James? Even from the UK. Man, good to see you. It's been a couple minutes indeed, man. Nice to see you. Ontario, Canada's in the house. Mr. White, he holds it down up there in Ontario. How you doing? Glenmorangie 12. We chatted a bit about Glenmorangie on that little surprise live I did last Friday. It was good to have you there, sir. Just Whiskey's in the house. Cheers. Looking forward to your take on this before I buy a backup. Oh, he's already got this one. Good to see you, Just Whiskey. Where are you joining us from, by the way? Drop your city or area code if you feel like it. Country even is fine. Great to have you. All's well. Just the pre-Christmas runaround month. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Pittsburgh's in the house. What up, Rob MC? Happy Tuesday to you, brother. How are you, man? And there's the other one out there in Los Angeles. It's Cohen. Greetings, Muser and the Malt Mongrels. Back at you, sir. Great to see Cohen in the house. It's almost your birthday. It is, man. Sunday. Just around the corner. Can you believe it? Time is flying indeed. Good to see you, Cohen. Evening. Picked up the Scotia 12 seasonal thanks to you. Oh, you are in for a treat. The Amontillado. Man, that was a nice dram. Yeah, good stuff. Dowdy's going to go for the Glenmo, though. Okay, well, we'll see if we can change your mind on that. I am expecting so. I expect nothing less from Glenmorangie. Marilyn, Mike B, what's up? I got a sample of yours that we'll be tasting in the fun half, second half, whatever you want to call it, of the show. $10 super chat in. Hey, man, that's super rad. Thank you. Cheers. Appreciate that $10 super chat, Daniel. Yes, it is my birthday coming up on Sunday. And I'll probably pour something. Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to sneak into live. Not going to make promises, but appreciate it, man. Means a lot. Good to see you, bud. Peerless single barrel rye in the glass. Great one. That was in my one rye to rule them all way back when in February. Can you believe it's been that long? February, March is when we did that. The blind 20 rye challenge. My God. It's been a year of whiskey already. K&L's, all kinds of new picks coming in. Ooh, yeah. Ben Nevis, Kleinlich, Buna, and a Craigellachie. I just saw a Craigellachie 15 signatory here in Chicago that looks pretty new. Might pick that up. FOMO of Cape Cod out there in Massachusetts. All right. We got some true East Coasters in the house, man. You, Mike B, down in Maryland. What's up? Heading to the Bay Area this weekend. We'll hit up K. Yeah, you got to hit up K&L. Big fan of your take. Your next review, mate. Just Whiskey. Yeah, right on, man. Check out Just Whiskey's channel, folks. We are cracking that Rosebank finally this week. Oh, yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. You're going to hit up that Rosebank. Oh, our boy Mike. Our boy Daniel here got his hands on a Rosebank 21. He went for it. We are all going to be very excited to hear your thoughts on that. It might be with the super chat. Man, thank you. Appreciate that. You guys are the best, man. Seriously, super cool. It goes a long way to supporting the show. I just want to make sure you know that. I thank you so very much, Mike. And Daniel. Houston Whiskey Socials going on this weekend too. Yeah, big time, man. It's whiskey season. All right. We got 12 folks in. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping before we set things up. So, first and foremost, whiskey review dropping this weekend. Not this weekend, this Friday. Glencadam, 10 years old. I'm very excited to share this review. This is one that I was really excited about because the whiskey is just so good. And it's a 10-year, and it's affordable. Keep your eyes peeled for that. It'll drop on Friday. Patreon supporters, it's already in your email inbox this time tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that email. I'm looking forward to getting that out to y'all and would love to hear what you think about it. Tonight's show, we got a featured bottle. It is the latest in the Tales series from Glenmorangie, one of my favorite distilleries. We'll talk a little bit more about why that is shortly. A Tale of the Forest. I'm going to get this open and in the glass and breathing just a little bit to get this thing some oxygen. Later in the show, I have a 35, did you hear me? 35-year-old JP Weisers from Canada. A generous sample sent to me by a good friend of the show and super chatter Mike B, which I super appreciate. I have it sitting in a glass right now with a cap on it, getting some of that oxygen. Excited to share that. But in between the Tale of the Forest and that 35-year-old JP Weisers, I have a tale of disappointment and a tale of caution to share with you all about a certain online whiskey retailer. We will be getting into that after our featured bottle. I did mention it in the description. This is not something I would normally do, but I feel like it is my duty to share with among friends. An experience that I've had recently in a a cautionary tale, if you will, about how you spend your money and who you give it to in the large, sometimes uncertain world of whiskey buying, particularly online. So we are going to get into all of that later in the show. I hope they're watching, by the way. They do have the link to this. Well, to the channel at least. So let's start things off. We got 15 in, which is awesome. We're going to start things off with our featured bottle, an uncorking, a first taste. We're going to jump on into this. You might know a little bit about that, Daniel. Cheers. Awesome. All right, let's get into it. Our featured bottle tonight is, as I just mentioned, Glenmorangie's A Tale of the Forest. So, as you all know, Glenmorangie, Highland Distillery in Scotland, one of my favorites, one of the real vanguards when it came to finishes and things like that with whiskey, for better or worse. For many years, they had an annual, they were called private releases. And they would have a number on them. And I believe it seems to me that they've switched that from private releases to A Tale ofs. So 2 years ago, we got A Tale of Cake, which is a Tokaja Hungarian wine cask finish, dessert wine whiskey. Last year, we had A Tale of Winter, and I believe it was Marsala. I quite liked that one. And this year, we have A Tale of the Forest. So first and foremost, Glenmorangie, as I mentioned, Highland Distillery. They are known for having the tallest stills in Scotland. So they have a very lighter, more elegant, refined whiskey. The tall stills prevent a lot of those heavy oils and proteins and all that jazz from getting up into that line arm in the wash cell. Because of that, you're really only getting the lightest vapors. So you have a much more refined, elegant whiskey on the palate because of that. Glenmorangie, A Tale of the Forest. Let me give you guys the tale of the tape. It is a 46% ABV. It is a non-age statement whiskey. Here on the left side of the bottle, or the box, I should say, it tells us that it's non-chill filtered. That's awesome. They say it's limited edition. And here's what they say. I am not going to read all of the marketing fluff on this, but I am going to tell you the important part about what makes this whiskey interesting, because after all, they say it is crafted from barley, kilned with woodland botanicals. Now, of course, the kiln, in the case of something like an Islay whiskey, that's where you burn the peat, the smoke comes up, dries the germinating barley, infuses it with flavor. Well, in the kiln here, they have used an ancient method of mixing the barley with woodland botanicals, in this case, juniper berries, birch bark, and heather blossom. Okay, so what we're really looking at here is a barley with a bunch of different woodland botanicals thrown in the kiln to infuse their flavor into the smoke that is drying that germinating barley, thus giving it some unique flavors. Hopefully. It does not say anything here about natural color. A bottle of this is going for about $85 to $90 USD. It is in the classic Glenmorangie elegant bottle. I really do love their presentation. The artwork on here is really nice. Just a quick tour of the bottle. Yes, 46%, no age statement. It doesn't say the non-chill filtering on here either, but it does say it on the box. Like to see it said it on here, and would also like to see that it's natural color, but it is not. That is not a natural color. You can tell by the orange glow. Okay. Why do I love Glenmorangie so much? Well, to be honest, I do appreciate the subtlety of Glenmorangie's whiskeys. Some of them are a little bit bold, but a lot of them are rather subtle, and I do feel like you get a lot of it challenges the palate a bit. It's very different than what I feel like are a lot of the bolder, heavier whiskeys, which I typically enjoy. Heavily peated whiskeys from Islay, for example, heavy sherried whiskeys from the Highlands and Speyside. This, it's a little bit different. It's giving you, Each year, good old Dr. Bill over there is conjuring up something funky, and I so far have liked the Tale series enough that I felt that this was worth a buy. So we're going to find out if this was the right move or not. Let me know in the chat. Are you a fan of Glenmorangie's whiskeys? Is it a distillery you look for? Is it a distillery that you don't really look for? And why? What favorite drinks do you have from them? Please share. I have a rather large collection of Glenmorangies. As you can see right here, these are all old 90s bottles. I have 12-year-olds from Madeira cask and sherry cask, port cask, burgundy cask. I have an old 18, an old 15, an old 10. There's some older ones behind there. Got a bunch of Glenmos. Really enjoy it as a nice kind of easy sipper. Usually has a couple surprises in it. Generally a fan of what they do. However, I do wish that they would consistently bottle at 46%. Consistently not put fake color in, and consistently not chill filter. They do have some strikes against them for that kind of stuff. So all of that said, a Tale of the Forest, barley infused with with woodland botanicals, juniper. What did they say they were? Juniper berry, so like gin, juniper berry, birch bark, and heather blossom. I don't know what the hell to expect from this, y'all, but that's what makes it fun. This is the almost certainly fake color. And here we go. Let me just clean this palette one more time. We got 17 folks in. Solange, say hello in the chat. Would love to hear from you. Have you join. Here we go. On the nose. Wow. Okay. It doesn't disappoint in the something new category. First of all, oaky, fresh cut wood. It's much on the younger oaky side than anything really overly cask influence. I'm assuming they use ex-bourbon cask in this, but it's much sharper, spicier. So you got this fresh cut wood note. I mean, it almost has a little bit of like that peat effervescence. Maybe that's from the heather. I don't know. But it's almost like Mizunara. If you've had a Japanese whiskey, particularly aged in Mizunara, a bit of that sandalwood spiciness. So we got fresh cut wood. We got a little bit of this kind of sandalwood. Wow. This nose is really fascinating. I'm definitely getting like potpourri, kind of like the old potpourri that you would find in a bathroom, and it was like the wood chunks and the berries and all that. A bunch of that, very floral, very pungent. I mean, does it give you the sense of walking through an autumn forest? Not exactly. It's more like you were walking into some type of botanical garden. There's just so many different notes coming off the nose. The nose of this is really quite spectacular. A lot of subtlety, interesting spices, interesting floral notes. General profile here is on the spicy sweet side, maybe the oak sweet side. I shouldn't even say sweet. It's oak and spice more than anything. Chai. The nose is fascinating. I can tell you right now, this is it is living up to what it is branded as. Now the real question is what's going to happen on the palate here. It really does strike me as a bit of a Japanese whiskey with a lot of that kind of slight herbal notes, the slight kind of just kind of popping here and there. Some of those more nuanced wood notes. Really, really interesting. Okay, let's give it a taste. A Glenmorangie uncorking, a Tale of the Forest. There you go. Let's do it. Happy Tasty Tuesday, y'all. Ooh. Wow. That is rich for a Glenmorangie. Let's do a second sip and then I'll tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, the fear of any gin notes or gin quality in this is nothing you need to worry about. It is a very slight juniper note that I get on the palate. I barely noticed it on the nose. Rich, full, oily whiskey. As it develops, you are really just getting an onslaught of, again, these herbal, floral, fresh cut wood notes. So you are getting a bit of a sharpness and heat from the oak. But there's a nice chocolate richness that's kind of taming it down a little bit. So I'm assuming this might be a first fill ex-bourbon cask. Maybe a first fill bourbon cask. I don't know. But I'm getting more vanillas, a little bit of toffee, a little bit of caramel, a ton of spice. And it is a diverse palette of spices. This is not just like a hot cinnamon bomb. You are getting some of that red hot cinnamon candy note that I tend to get in some younger bourbons. Definitely getting that in here. But there is a bunch more happening. I'm trying to think about which way to go with describing it. It does have almost a peaty character. Not necessarily smoky, although there's a little bit of ashiness. It is kind of a peaty palate, which is really interesting for a Glenmorangie. There's a lot happening. Smoked paprika, almost like a little bit of the like smoked, I'm not sorry, like powdered spice. Almost, you can almost taste it on the palate. There's a little bit of citrus, smoky, woody, floral, little bit bitter on the back end. It is a long finish. You get a little bit of heat that is almost a sharp chili pepper, which is bordering on an alcohol note. Medium long finish, I should say. Like you, cinnamon, dark chocolate, vanilla, cocoa powder, all of that. Little hints of fruit notes here and there. Very chill, very tame, very chill. It's the spice notes that really are changing. I'm going to go into kind of just off the cuff type of spices I can associate with cardamom, coriander, ground coriander, chai. Do one more sip. It really builds. It really builds. It arrives like kind of like a nice, elegant, light Glenmorangie, but it really builds with its richness. And then these spices come in on the back end. They're masking whatever youth is in here really well. The 46% is what is carrying this whiskey. If this was lower, it just wouldn't work. It would be too hot. As this stands now, really interesting stuff. In fact, this is one of the more compelling whiskeys I've had from them. I think this is better than the Tale of Cake. I was not a huge fan of that. This is neck and neck with the Tale of Winter. They did a really good job with this whiskey. It may not be for everybody. If you like floral and kind of deeper herbal wood spices and are interested in kind of exploring spices and challenging your palate, I think this whiskey works for that, to be completely honest. I don't know if this is something I want to drink every day, but I do like what I'm getting here. Let's put some water on it. I got the trusty Glenmorangie pitcher here too. I feel like I'm branded with Glenmorangie right now. Let me put a couple drops on here. I'm just going to do like 3. Let's just see where this goes. Wow, this mint chocolate thing at the end of this finish it's like an Andes candy, if you've ever had one of those before, those mint chocolate candies, in the green, flashy green wrapper. There's that Mizunara oak again, that sandalwood, kind of dusty, slightly sweet. It's getting a little bit darker. It's muting a bit of the spices with the water. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, a little bit hotter this time. The water does show that it had, this is what's interesting here. On the one hand, all of the character and kind of complexity that this thing is bringing to the table is really showcasing with the water. On the other hand, what I'm getting is like, with water, you have this richness of the bourbon cask. This is almost certainly a bourbon cask, but then you're also getting a bit of the edginess and the heat, which I think is coming from the youthful spirit. So I almost liked it better neat. The finish is taking a little bit of a hit. It's still getting that mint chocolate note, though, which is really, really nice. Bit of that chai spice, bit of that Mizunara oak flavor. Hey, this is a fun one. I think for the price, I mean, again, this is about $90 USD, give or take. I don't regret it. I don't know that it's as something I want to reach for as much as the Tale of Winter was, but I'm also I'm partial to Marsala cask. A lot of interesting spice, fun whiskey, maybe not necessary to own, but if you like Glenmorangie or if you're just interested in getting something a little different, I think they've hit the nail on the head with what they were trying to accomplish with this. The nose on this is just really wonderful. It's a 5 out of 5 nose for me, or close to it. I think for a fair, again, prelim score, 4.5 out of 5 on the nose, just interest, complexity, nuance. Palate's about a 3.75. Finish without water, 4. Finish with water, 3.5. This whiskey's landing right in that 3.5 range for me, I think. I think all in all, when you take price into consideration, what you're getting here, my prelim score is going to be a 3.5 on this, which is definitely give it a try if you can and grab it if it's at a good price and you like this kind of whiskey. Hey, I like what they've done here. I got nothing to complain about. As I mentioned before, the 46% is really carrying this. I wonder if they use virgin oak in this at all. Again, the 3 botanicals that are in the kiln are juniper berries, birch bark, and heather blossom. And I will say that the only thing I don't pick a lot up from, thankfully, is the juniper. I like gin, but I feel like you get a little bit of the gin note on the nose. Like there's kind of like a absinthe quality to it. Slightly, but it does not ever show itself too much to overpower, which I think could have been a little bit of a deal breaker. Yeah. Hey, this ain't a bad one. Not at all. It's fun. It's interesting. Definitely one for your whiskey pals. We'll see how this thing, we'll see how many times I reach for this. I will do a full review. I've noticed that I've been just kicking off every year recently with a Glenmorangie review as the first review of a new year. So I'm assuming that that's probably what I'm going to do with this. We'll see. And there's like a chocolate eclair thing going on right now. This finish is just so good. I am really enjoying it despite the youth. This is punching a bit above its weight, y'all. I'm just going to say it. I'll sit at 3.5 now, but I would not be surprised that when I review this, this bumps up to a 3.75. Not for everybody, but I think this is a good one. Dr. Bill. He's pulled something interesting together here. Okay. So that's our feature bottle for the week. I'm going to sit at 3.5, which I think is a healthy, respectable score. If you're a 100-point scale person, I mean, I'm putting this at like an 87, 86, whatever. We'll talk more about it soon, so keep an eye out for that. We got 21 folks in, which is awesome, man. It's great to see everybody. I am going to just do a quick chat, and then we're going to talk about the second tale of this show, which is the tale of disappointment, the tale of frustration, the tale of anger, and the tale of caution for whiskey friends like you guys. I feel like it's my duty to share what I'm about to share with you guys, but not before I say hello to the folks in the chat, because we got 21 in, and it's great to see everybody. I'm going to go back a little bit here. People were talking about Glenmorangie. Mike B caved and bought the Supernova, or the Hypernova. Really excited to hear about that. Daniel used to really love it. Not something that Mike B usually goes for. And releases are pretty good. Yeah, I agree. Glenmorangie 18 was the last one I bought. It was kind of mad, gifted the bottle to my friend. That Malaga cask was good. Yeah, I loved the Malaga cask. That was almost a whiskey of the year for me. I have 2 more of those, and I would buy 5 more if I could. I have their core lineup: 10 La Santa, Quinta Ruben 12, 14 Nectador Signet. Is the 18 worth picking up? No. It's good. I think it's a really good whiskey. It's subtle, it's refined, but you have the Nectador and the Signet are just, I think, really good, especially if it's the age-stated Nectador. All of those are good. The 10, it is what it is, but those are all good. I think you should look for the 12 Malaga cask private release. You can skip the cognac one. If you can find that, grab it. The 18, if it's at a good price, grab it. I don't know if it's going to quite hit all the marks for you, James, but it's good. It's just not maybe the. I think it is good for the price. Let's put it that way. Cohen says Malaga was the last game I bought. It was good. I would like a 12-year CS bourbon cask on chill filtered. Yeah, totally. Alpha Crown's here. What's up? The only nosing can give you walk through the process of Hakushu. Yeah, that's a nice point. Blair Atholls, yeah. Anyone see the Redwood Empire cast drink on the shows? I have not. Leo, Sun Valley, Desert, Arizona's in the house. What's up? Yes, yeah. I was picking it up for sure. Stephen Connor's here. What's up in Tennessee? How you doing, brother? Been a while, man. Nice to see you. Let's launch. All right. Get through here a little bit. Sorry if I'm missing you and missing your comment. Hey, we all in the Whiskey Friends here in the house. Check it out. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you, man. Just caught your review of the Port Charlotte SCO1, which is awesome. I'll get Tale of Forest River drops to 70s, the max I would pay. Okay. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Was concerned about the possible gin notes, but you use not. Yeah, I'm not picking up heavy gin notes on this at all. I haven't got the Hypernova. I wish I could. Loch Ness, man. Hey, great to see you. It's been a minute. That's awesome, dude. Gary's here too. San Francisco in the house. What's up, friends? Yeah. That's the typical one. Glenmos are pretty. These 3 Glenmos are pretty similar to the 18. Thoughts on how they compare? If you're looking for something pretty basic and just a little bit more nuanced, go for the 18. If you're looking for something interesting, something that's going to challenge your palate, which I think you'll probably enjoy. If you like something a little more herbal and smoke and a little bit of peat, Tale of the Forest. If you haven't heard, James, I have. I actually did a live, an impromptu live a couple weeks ago and opened it. It's so good. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Adam K is here too. What's up, Adam? Glendronach 12 or Classic Lottie for my next bottle? Well, if you like Sherry, 12. Yeah, those are a little bit on the different side. I would probably go with the Glendronach 12. Glendronach 12. It's a really good whiskey. Michael McDonald, what's up? Nice. Good to see you. Okay, y'all. So this really sucks what I'm about to do, and I never really wanted to have to do this, but I'm going to. And I'm going to use this platform as an opportunity to talk about what an experience that I've had really recently. And share it in a bit as a cautionary tale. I am not going to openly advocate that you not give these people your money, but I am going to say what my experience was and let you be the judge for yourself. In the whiskey buying world, especially for us here in the United States, increasingly looking from things overseas is an option that a lot of us look at, primarily because the prices and the selection. For the last couple of years, I have probably spent upwards of $3,000 to $4,000 at a fairly priced website from the Netherlands called Fine Drams. Back in July of this year, I placed 2 orders with Fine Drams. One was like the 11th of July, one was the 18th. I don't have the dates correctly, but they were very close together. Okay. And Fine Drams is one of a many websites that you have to choose from overseas when you are buying whiskey and having it shipped to you here in the United States. Okay. As I said, over the years, I've spent a considerable amount of money with them. And one of my orders, of course, showed up rather quickly via DHL, which is what they normally do. The second order got kind of stuck. It wasn't moving, right? It was sitting in the UK on its way to Chicago. And I thought it was like a little curious. I gave it time. And in early August, I reached out to them and I was like, hey, notice that this order hasn't really moved. Is there anything you can do? On August 15th, after one previous response from them, Jonas, the name of the person at finedrams.com who responded to my email, on August 15th said, and I quote, there's not much we can do, but let's give it another week. If it doesn't move, we'll see about sending you another order. Makes sense. Okay. It has been a couple weeks, but look, I'm a reasonable person. That is a totally reasonable thing. I never heard from Jonas again. And I sent a series of emails over the course of August into September, inquiring about why this order hadn't moved, asking him if he was going to honor what he had stated in his email to me, that they would talk about reorder. Absolutely nothing. The guy effectively ghosted me, and therefore the website and the company ghosted me. I have spent, as I said, a healthy amount of money there over the years. And I was really upset about this because, to be completely honest, I couldn't believe it. I was emailing him probably about once a week, trying to check in. Absolutely nothing. So in preparation for my show tonight, I sent him another email after not saying anything for upwards of a couple of weeks, if not a month. And I said, look, like, I'm a whiskey reviewer. I have a whiskey review channel. I think, basically here's the deal. This has been a tremendous pain in my ass. I had to go through my credit card company to get a refund of the $400 plus some dollar order that I had made from them, even though I had just spent $400 on that previous order a couple days prior. So we're talking about close to $1,000 in a couple of days, adding to the at least couple $1,000s that I had spent with them over the years. Well, Jonas never responded. And like I said, I sent them an email. I said, look, if you want to fix this, it has been now 3 months. Send me a code, whatever, for a $25 or a 25% discount on the next order and a refund of my order, and I'll fucking keep your business. If not, I'm going to share this with the people that I talk whiskey with. Absolutely no response. So he's ghosted me effectively for over August, September, October. You do the math. So it is shitty that I have to bring this to you guys and share this with you. But I also understand that these are the types of things that can happen, even with websites that you totally trust and people that you've done a lot of business with. In contrast, I have had orders in the past from whiskeyworld.com, for example, get caught up and lost, and they immediately refunded me or sent me another order. Immediately. Okay. What this website has done, in my opinion, has taken me for granted, has effectively attempted to disregard the needs of the customer who has spent a lot of money there, frankly, because they didn't want to cough up the money or they didn't want to deal with it, right? I do understand that they don't have control over their independent shipping company, DHL. Do understand that. However, I have had experiences with other websites that haven't treated me this way. Okay. So look, they decided not to respond. They decided to give me the proverbial finger. And you know what? I'm sharing this with you guys as a cautionary tale about this website, findrams.com. Be careful about giving them your money, and honestly, make sure you vet. Even if you got to spend a little bit more time reading through Trustpilot reviews, it is worth it, because you know what? When something goes wrong is when a merchant shows you who they really are. And the experience I've had has left me with a horrible taste in my mouth. I'm, as you can tell, restraining myself from saying what the fuck I really think about it. But it was really embarrassing. It was pathetic. It was no way to treat somebody who has spent a lot of money with them. I'll never give them another dime of my money. And you guys can make the decision for yourselves if you should, or if people you know should. Do your research. Look for people who've talked about having experiences about when something goes wrong. Because when things go right, things go right. It's when things go wrong is when you learn about how a business wants to treat their customer. And I have had things go wrong with multiple companies. And I have not ever been treated this way, particularly after I have spent a considerable amount of money with them. So I'm going to leave it at that. I did send them a link to this. I hope they're watching. They probably aren't. They don't seem to care. I can't even get a response email from them in over 2 months. So you be the judge for yourself. If this is a company you want to spend your money with, continue, by all means, that is your business. But I wanted to make sure you knew this. And I never use my channel to like badmouth somebody unless it absolutely needed. And I waited a long time, upwards of 3 months. Upwards of 3 months before I even used this platform. And they do have a link to this. So maybe they'll watch. They probably won't. But it is what it is. I'm just going to say this and leave it at that. It's really unfortunate that I had to have an embarrassing phone call with my credit card company and basically claim that I was fraudulently charged because these assholes wouldn't say anything to me and thought that I was just somebody that could be cast aside, even though I had spent over $1,000 in a month, let alone that. So that's that. I just want to let you guys know that this is how they treat their customers, apparently, and be prudent. With that, we are going to move into our next whiskey to taste. I do want to take a second, though, to just highlight some of the comments I'm seeing coming in, which I really do appreciate you all sending. Wrap my head around it. Assault on the past. Oh, yeah. Good for you getting a refund, Eric. Thankful for that. Yeah, I agree. Is that Holland blame the cafe life and their cookies? Yeah. Daniel says, me and Eric talked about this over a month ago, and that was after no response for a while. He waited a really long time. Yeah. I did not want to do this. I really didn't. It's embarrassing. Honestly, it makes me feel like an asshole. And I shouldn't be the one feeling like an asshole. It should be them, because they're the ones who are the assholes. Leo said, that's a bummer. Bad customer service sucks. I was going to purchase some bottles from them too. Yeah. Again, make your best decision, man. I agree. And I can tell you right now, and I want to lift up Whiskey World and whiskyinternational.com as people who immediately, without hesitation, dealt with the similar issue and respected their customer, honored their business, so on. Sure does, man. We asked for reasonable communication at times of transparency. There's no question that staffing issues are real, but there's no excuse. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they seem to. I even was thinking that, bro. I was like, maybe somebody got COVID. Like maybe this is a thing, but it's been 3 months. I'm sorry. Like this is a reasonable amount of time to expect a response. You know, Stephen Connors has spent thousands with them, but haven't bought anything in a while. Never. Yeah, I mean, again, like this. You know. I'm sorry, man, but it is what it is. It sucks, and unfortunately, I gave them as much the benefit of the doubt as I could. Yeah, I really did not want to do this. I you know, it is what it is, man. Yeah, I mean, there you go. And look, you know, I told them. Just to be honest, I only reached out to the email address they gave me. I even tried sending them an email about my order from a different email address, from my malt user email address, on the thought that maybe they had blocked it or it went into spam and made it nothing. So no, they to me, I did more than a customer needs to do or should ever be asked to do, and even my like attempts to get around whatever like landed nowhere. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is, man. It's lame. I mean, it's something. But like, if they got nobody answering their customer service for 3 months, like, I'm sorry, but you still shouldn't give them your money, in my humble opinion. Anyways, so that's that. I again, just to recap this for the last time, I really didn't want to do this. I thought maybe by telling them that I have a platform, like maybe I would get some type of response. I had gotten my money back. Like I said, I had to go through my credit card company to get my money back. You know, which is embarrassing enough, right? And time consuming enough for that matter. I was forthright and I told them exactly how I felt. And I was like, look, like you have a chance to make this right. I even didn't come online last week because I had something else going on. So they had 2 weeks to respond, nothing. So this is what it is. I am sorry to take up so much whiskey time with this like negative shit, but I felt like you guys need to know. And with that, we're gonna move on. So the next thing I got coming up tonight is something really, really awesome. This is a sample that I've had sitting up for over an hour, provided by a good friend of the show, Mike B out in Maryland. It's a Canadian whiskey. It's J.P. Wiser's 35 years old. And I've had this sitting here with the cap. This is bottled at 50% ABV. In full transparency about J.P. Wiser's, you know, as we've all talked about here on the show a couple times, it is hard to get your hands on a lot of the really good Canadian whiskey in the U.S. Similar for our friends up there to get good hands on good bourbon. It is just what it is. I don't know why. I have had a couple samples from various ones from Food Quig, which have been really, really awesome. But what I got here is a 35-year-old J.P. Wiser's, which is, I think, this is going to be the third oldest Canadian whiskeys I've ever had after the Canadian Club. The Canadian Club, 43 and 42, which were handed over right quick. We'd love to hear in the chat, especially from our friends in Canada, what they think about this 35-year-old J.P. Wiser's. But to be honest, most of the ones I've had sample-wise have been really good. The ones you can find here in the States, I think the oldest I've ever seen on a shelf is the 18. And look, there's a lot of good whiskey up there in Canada that we just don't get our hands on. I don't know what this is aged in. I don't know if it's natural color or not. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go on Trustpilot and give them a 0 or write them emails, by all means. I'm not stopping you. I did not tell you not to buy all. I told you it was my experience. You go from there. You know, it is what it is. Anyways, J.P. Wiser's 35. I'm gonna just get a little bit of info. So here's what it has to say. They do have it at K&L. James Chang Cohen. This is a winner. You might want to grab it at a really wonderful price of $120. Okay, now. Corn and rye distilled separately in both column and pot stills and blended together, aged in a combination of virgin oak and used bourbon barrels, so ex-bourbon. You catch that? It's corn and rye whiskey blended together and then aged in virgin oak and ex-bourbon. There we go. Yeah, real talk. Here we go. On the news. Ooh. 35-year-old JP Weisers. Okay. I did just read this, but I will tell you, there is a spiciness to this, and it's definitely the rye. It's definitely the rye. Butterscotch caramel, really rich nose. Might be, if you were still in the house, this is quite nice. You can just tell it's got surprises. Alan, the Whiskey Friend, take good care. And by the way, folks, go hit up his channel and subscribe if you haven't. He's got a great review coming up of the Port Charlotte SCO1. It is very Canadian. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not overly rich, you know, like it doesn't have that full-on blast of a cask like you get off a bourbon. It has a little bit of that kind of shortbread cookie butterscotch. I don't know exactly how to completely describe it, but it does smell quintessentially Canadian whiskey to me. You can smell the maple syrup. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Let's give it a taste. Mm-hmm. Boy, oh boy. Wow. That is a heavy, rich, intense whiskey. If you got a contact in Canada and you can't get to K&L in Los Angeles, I would advise you figure out a way to have them get you some of this because this is really good. So the first thing I'm telling you right now off the bat, the spicy oak character, the rye spice, which is showing itself a bit more. Admittedly, I read that. I might not have picked it up otherwise. Who knows? It's got a little bit of a bubblegum sweetness characteristic to it. But there's a huge, rich palette of toffee, light caramel, light brown sugar, Werther's Original Candy, just super dense, super rich, carrying this all the way through into a long finish while you have this backbone of a spice, an oak woody note, and the freshness of that rye. They're really they're not, I wouldn't say that they are operating together. They're operating separately, but it's working. It's like you can focus on one aspect of it or the other, and it's just working. There's a nice apple cinnamon note, really long finish. K&L is clearly got this at a great price. I want to just see what the average U.S. price is of this. I don't see this in California, and or in the U.S. That can't be right. I think they might have had a misprint. Yeah, okay. This is more like $800. I was gonna say if this is $120, this is not. Yeah, this is probably so Cask Cartel, but you know, if you trust them, their prices are always inflated. There's a lot of the prices are all over the board on this. This is really good. If any of our friends in Canada are in the house, I would love to hear, like, do you see this and what is the price of this run, you guys? Good to see Alan. Yeah, there's Alan's channel. Go check that out. It's rich. It's got a bit of that kind of furniture polish thing. There's a lot going on in this. I mean, look at how light the color is. That's ex-bourbon cask and virgin oak for you, right? 50% ABV too. You wouldn't even know it. I think it's worth it. You got to remember, so not to go off track, but Port Charlotte and Bruichladdich, I have become convinced that the cask quality that they use justifies younger, or it compensates for younger aged stuff. It really does. That whiskey's great. I would consider trying it at least. I don't know if I've had that one. Yeah, this is no slouch at all. Thank you, Mike. This is really, really nice. I cannot find this one anymore in Canada. Maybe some small stores in Alberta. I see. 199. Okay. I mean, great price. I mean, it's a blended scotch, but this is a really great price. He has the Wisers from the Quig. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear what you had to say about this. Jesus, under $200. Can you believe that? I mean, for under $200, this is a must buy. If you could somehow get your hands on it. I mean, what else to say about it? It's hitting on all the right notes. It's rich. It's inviting. It has complexity. Maybe not the most complex. I'm definitely not complex in the way that a lot of single malt scotches are, but Jesus, there's a lot of fun stuff going on here. The dark chocolate that's really heavy. I'm going to put some water on it. Again, it's 50%, but it's 35 years old. To be honest, I'm just going to do like just a little bit here. Maybe just like 3 drops. I don't want to drown this. Wow. Even more of that just caramel, butterscotch. Yeah, Cask Cartel's trying to sell this for $850. I'm really enjoying it, man. Thank you so much again for this sample, bud. There's rich, concentrated sweetness to this. Very confectionery in the caramel, dark chocolate, brown sugar type way. A lot of brown sugar in this. The nose on this is just full of brown sugar. I mean, there's nothing to complain about here. Damn, Chris. The rye and the virgin oak really do show up on the back end of this palate in like the nose more dominated by the brown sugar, but wow, really showing up. This is a cup of coffee, man. This is a cup of espresso with It's good. I mean, you can't go lower than a 4 on this at that price. I don't know if it's, what the 35 years is bringing to it per se. I mean, it doesn't drink like probably a 35-year-old single malt, but like I said, but man, it's killing it. What a great whiskey. I've had bourbons that have less brown sugar in it than this does. Dig it. Thanks, Mike B. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. I don't know if I have any of those left from Quig. I did have a couple of those Chronicles. I don't know if I have any left. We're at that 1 hour point, man. We still got 16 folks in. What's up, y'all? If you haven't taken a second, man, and you're enjoying the show, smash that like. I would really appreciate it. It does more than you think. If you haven't subscribed, we'd love to have you on board. Glen Cadam 10 is the review dropping this Friday. TBD on whether we're gonna have a live show next week. I'm not sure yet. I do apologize for that. I'll know by the end of the week, and if there is one, I'll post it. If not, I'll make the next one extra special. Yeah, man, that is very Canadian. Mike, you're totally right. It is. I feel like I'm at the point in my journey where I could almost tell without being told it. If I drank that blind, I'd be like, "Oh, that's a Canadian whiskey," and it's a damn good one at that. All right. I need to get a refill of water, and then I think we're going to do another dram. So sit tight, folks. I'll be right back. Okay, so the whiskey that we are going to get into here in the second hour of the show is a whiskey that I opened live a couple weeks ago, and I think I gave it a 3.75, first taste. But I've had a dram since then, and it hit a lot better. I think my palate might have just been a little bit tweaked, probably because I've been drinking some heavy beers that day. But what I got here, and what I think we're going to just do right now, is Bunnahabhain 1997 Moynia PX finish. It is a 22-year-old Bunnahabhain limited edition, I guess. Yeah, there was 1,600 bottles. It's bottled at 50% ABV. It's 22 years old. It is a 3-year finish in PX, and then I think everything else is in. Yeah, here it is. 3 years in PX, so that means 19 years in bourbon cask. Yeah. The first dram I had of this, I think it didn't quite hit the way I wanted it to, but I did have one off camera, and it was amazing. By the way, folks, I'm going to mention this right now. So if you are a supporter on Patreon, as you know, you are automatically entered into 3 raffles every year of samples. This is going to be in the 3rd raffle of this year. So if you're a Patreon supporter right now, do nothing. You're already in. If you want to get in, and you do get early releases, reviews, you get some exclusive content, you're also getting these raffles, join now. Join on patreon.com/maltmuserwhiskey, whatever rate works for you, and you'll automatically be entered. There'll be 3 winners, and 2 of them are going to get a dram of this, which means that the first place person is going to get something else outside of this. So, again, the specs on this, it is 1997 Moynia. Moynia means peated. Does it mean smoke? It means peated in Scots Gaelic. So it is a heavily peated, smoky Bunnahabhain 22-year-old PX finish, 50%, non-chill natural, the way it should be. Let's get that in the glass. Yeah, I will be giving out samples of this. And that, by the way, that raffle sample will probably officially kick off maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks. So I will run down. Again, there will be 3 samples for the winner, 2 for second place, and 1 for third place. I am going to include this Bunnahabhain for first and second place. So I feel like this is a whiskey I want to share with folks. And as our good friend Alan, the whiskey friend, would always say, whiskey is not whiskey until it's shared. And he's absolutely right. So that will be in that Patreon raffle. We'll talk more about that later. In the meantime, let me catch up on the chat. awesome mate. JP Wise's regular earlier. Oh, nice. Canadian blended. 100% rye, single malt whiskey. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no doubt. First new bourbon, never say WBS pick. Not sure where Alan's going with that. Is that a pause symbol? Thought you were heading out, brother, but I'm glad you're still here. Oh, that's cool. You guys are talking samples, man. Oh, man. Our boy Daniel just spiced it up. He's going to toss in a sample of that 21-year-old Rosebank. You might, if you've been waiting to get it on Patreon, this might be the time to do it, bro. That is very generous. We will talk about coordinating that, man. That's really, really, really awesome, man. Cheers. Yeah, the 12 Buna. Sleep well. The 12 Buna batch 2 is out. You're right. I agree. Stoisha? Yeah. Look, I didn't think the 12 Buna batch 1 was all that great. I haven't even done a review of it yet. I know we opened it here on a live show, but I don't know, man. I wanted it to be better. I love Bunnahabhain. You're already in the raffle, man. You're a Patreon supporter. You're already in the raffle. Don't worry. Don't you worry. It's a random raffle. I use random.org. I just put everybody's email in it, and whatever it tells me is who wins. So don't you worry, brother. Alan the Whiskey Friend's already a supporter on Patreon. So again, patreon.com/whiskey if you're into it. Here we go. There it is. It's a 22-year-old Bunnahabhain. Right? The nose on this is fantastic. Not overly peated, not overly smoky, but you get a lot of that. You get that classic old dusty downtown bookstore note, which I get off Bunnahabhain, which I just freaking love. PX sweetness, cherry, sweet strawberry, just rounding it out. It's not overpowering. It's not like a Lagavulin Distiller's Edition where sometimes it can just pop and it just kind of takes over the show at the end. Not what's going on here. Well integrated. Old Basement, nutty, figs, dates, raisins, that kind of thing. Here's one more look at that label. I had waited and wanted this for years, and I'm so glad that I grabbed it. This is a special bottle. Ah, here we go. The thing that was missing so much from this, the first time I tasted it, I was like, oh, this doesn't taste very rich. It's very rich. I missed it because I think what I had drank before, it kind of muted it, but oh man, heavy dark chocolate on the palate, plum, stewed fruit, ashy, sweetness from the PX, this chocolatey note. I'm just going to leave that up there for people to read. I have not seen his content, but that seems a bit excessive. It's not that good compared to the regular. What does he give the regular? I'll have to go check it out. The nose on this reminds me if there was some peat and smoke on a Bruichladdich Black Art, because it just has all these beguiling kind of fruity notes and subtleties that just pop. Bunnahabhain's one of my favorite distilleries on Isla. I think we on that impromptu live a few weeks back, which you can still find the stream for, we talked about favorite Isla distilleries. And Bunnahabhain is in my top 3 up there with Bruichladdich and probably Lafroig. I mostly just because I love their style, but also like when the whiskeys that they do right are just killers. I do. I do love a nice finish, and boy, let me tell you, this whiskey is just killing it. Every time you put your nose in, there's something different. I mean, at 22 years old. Hey, Scotch Down Under's here. What's up? If you guys haven't yet, go take a second. Give Scotch Down Under a sub. They're doing great stuff. Yeah, it is good. It's spicy. It's funk. It's different. It's definitely got. If you're interested in like exploring your palate on like a wood spices and floral note, I think they did a good job with it. Check it out. You can watch the playback. I'll have it posted if you want to see the full review, but I really enjoyed it. Right now we're doing Bunnahabhain 1997 Moynia PX Finish 22, 50% ABV. One of my favorite whiskeys. I was talking, Eric, wait for the extra scar, but yes, you love a good finish. Oh, yeah. 95 out of 100 on the Bunna 12 cast strength seems excessive to me. Again, I haven't seen his content on it, so I'll check it out, but it was not my impression. I haven't even got around to reviewing it. That's how uninspired I was by it. I love Bunna 12. I just don't think that 12 cast strength was that much better. It's not. The difference between the Lafroig 10 and the Lafroig 10 cast strength is leaps and bounds. The difference between the Bunna 12 and the Bunna 12 cast strength is half step. Oh, snap. Man, I've seen those bottles. You've got to tell me how that is. I want one. I want one. It's one of those that I always have ready to buy, and then I don't pull the trigger. Those is it a signature? Yeah, signature. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I've seen a couple of them. Please tell me how that is. I think you'll like. I mean, again, it has a little bit of a peaty note quality to it. I mean, this is not a. This is an interesting Glenmorangie, but I'll tell you, the 46% carries that richness a lot, and it's what you want. I think you'll enjoy it. Check it out. Loch Ness. Bunna does everything well. Big fan here. Although really limited selection. Yeah. They are not. Yeah. There's a really limited selection here too, unless you can go overseas to order it. The Bunnas that we see here in the States. This is a 4.25 for me. If not trying to go higher. It just keeps getting better. Other than the ostentatious packaging it comes in, it's like heavy as hell. I don't think this is as good as the 25, but this is really good. The ones you see here in the States are Stoisha, the Stoisha independent bottling, like the 7-year-old heavily peated Bunna from Signature. The 18, the 12. And what is that? There's that every once in a while, there's one that's like a non-age statement bottling of theirs that's like cheaper than the 12. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. You see that one. And then every once in a while, the Chochekada. But that's about it. The good Bunnas, you gotta hunt for. It's unfortunate. I mean, if you go into a liquor store, you see the 12. It's always like massively overpriced, $600, $700, $800. But I'll tell you right now, if you're looking for a special bottle, and I'm not going to recommend you buy it at Fine Drams because they're a bunch of scammers, as you just learned. Well, they're not a bunch of scammers, but they suck, and you shouldn't give them their money. If you are looking for this, Whiskey World has it. I think there's one other website that I saw on Whiskey Vault, the Whiskey Vault, not Whiskey Vault, the YouTube channel. You want a nice heavily peated Buna with a PX finish? Boy, this whiskey kicks ass. And I'm going to enjoy this into the sunset for sure. So with that, my friends, I am going to, again, keep your eyes peeled. As you've learned just recently, if you want to join on Patreon, do that at patreon.com. I'll use your whiskey. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this whiskey. It has been a really fun Tasty Tuesday, and I was glad to get back on the line with you all. I will keep you posted about what's coming next week. If I can't do a show next week, believe me, I will make it up with something really cool in 2 weeks from now. Glencadam 10-year-old is the review dropping Friday. Patreons, you have it in your email inbox by noon tomorrow. I give you my word on that. A lot of good whiskeys. Some unfortunate news about finedrams.com, which I had to share with you. But hey, I appreciate y'all hanging in there. Smash that like on your way out. And again, love hanging out with everybody. It's been another fun Tuesday. Happy November, y'all. Make a plan to go vote if you haven't yet here in the United States. We got election day 1 week from now. Go make your voice heard. And with that, I'm out. It's lunch.